So like this past Sunday, it was a little harder to play that game with him.
Yeah.
But it was still fun.
But you gotta just take what you want to get from him next time.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too is like I mean,
Take what you want to get from him next time.
You see, there's so much. I mean, even if it's not like actively teaching me, like I just want to train with you. Like I'm learning stuff.
Right. Okay. Well, we're gonna bow in. Like I was saying before, we're starting right off the bat. All right. Here we go. Tension. Bow. Good. Let's start with our floor drills, but I want to go kind of slowly. Hold on 1 second here to make sure. So we're in this position here. I want to lean way forward and then switch. Lean way forward, switch. And then if you can, when you bring this leg back, if you're comfortable, pop up a little bit. So your leg is extended and we're stretching here. See that? So we're in a full pigeon position. And switch. Good. Now, one leg at a time. Let's just do the kick the door drill. So bring your leg in, kick, and then focus on bringing it back in and behind. Bring your leg in, kick, bring it back in. So when you kick, imagine you're lining up right with your center line here. Bring it back in and bring it behind. Right leg only. Leg in, kick, back in, behind. And then if you can, stretch that leg all the way behind. Good. Kick. All the way. Kick. And all the way behind. Good. Should feel this kind of burning. Get that a little twist to your arms to find that momentum if you're adding that. Here. Good. Now, switch it. So again, when we do this side, bring the knee to the chest, kick forward, bring the knee back in, place behind. All right, so just this side. Find posture. Big part of what we're gonna work on today is posturing up, right? So knee in, kick, knee in, back. Knee in, kick, knee in, behind. Good. And when you're ready, if you like, if you feel good with the knees, right, we can show a little momentum. I really am twisting my arms to make this work, to bring my leg back here. And I'm flexing my front foot. Then sit it down, back in, kick. Here, twisting, back in, kick. In, back in, kick. In. Good. All right. Now, around the world, we're not going to change much on this one, except focus on really getting a forward stretch. We do a hand out, wide kick, right? And then come all the way forward into this position. I kind of leave my arms behind. You can bring that arm in front if you like, but I'm going to be posting it back here. So here, kick, right here. Good. Good stretch. So pause in the stretch. Now, if you can, come all the way to that pigeon pose where your leg is all the way behind you. And the way we do that is just by continuing to bring that leg all the way back. So we're going from here back to here. So I'll do it. It's going to be this leg that stretches back. So kind of watch I'm doing this. Click. And then come up. Then reset. Kick. Up. Reset. Let's give it a try. Good. Now, for the protection walking, again, not changing much on this one, but focus heavily on how straight your spine is when you're doing the entire movement. Try not to be bent here, and when we're doing the push-up, try not to let the hips sag, right? So as I fall here, straight back, and then sometimes when we do a push-up, any type of push-up, we lean with the head. And that is not great on our spine and doesn't put us in the strongest position. So really focus on straight back. Same thing when we turn, okay? Twisting, knee comes through, kick, keep the back straight. Okay, when we come back, same thing. Control, back straight, not here, right here. Lower, reset, and switch. Let's try this one. So, fall and switch, back is straight. If I drop my hips, then I'm too low. Right here. Push up, even. Turn, kick. Come back. Try to go do this part a little more slowly. Balance on that. Put that foot down and the hand down with control. Good. Reset. Switch. Okay. Fall. Up. Kick. Control, reset, switch, fall, up, kick, reset, and back. Good. Now, lizard drill. Not too much difference to do on this one, right? Spin and back. Okay, give a good forward stretch and then set the shoulder down. Up, forward stretch. Again, keeping my back straight the whole time. Here. Good. All right, now, final drill. When we step, really imagine someone's like lifting you up by your collars. So you're not leaning forward here, you're lifting up here. All these practices and posture will help you tremendously with your strength of position, especially in your takedowns and your breaking of the guard. Okay, so in position, toes flexed, head up, big step right here. All right, now let your hands kind of whip to help bring the speed into the mix so that you are kicking this hand with force, right? So we're here and back. Let's stay right here. Keep your posture, right? Same thing when I kick, I'm not leaning forward, I'm pressing up. I'm pressing up as my head comes forward. And then I kick. Good, everyone together now. Let's go again. Kick. Again, kick. One more. Good. Come back slowly. Turn this foot in. Okay. Bring this leg off the ground. With control. Whoa. Come back. Switch. Again. Lead with the head. Okay. And you're just pushing forward. You're not leaning forward to take weight off. You're engaging the muscles of your legs to lift you. And step. Good. Let's practice that last part at the beginning here. Leg up, bring around, control, always keeping that posture. Up, step. Good. Let's kick now. So my rear foot comes up. I am leading with my head and chest. Posture is up. And I'm going to kick my hand. So again, let your hands kind of do this whipping motion, okay? Not leaning forward. I'm lifting and then driving forward. Ready? Begin. And when you use that whipping motion, you can be fast and really accurate with your kick and with the land. If you don't do that, you feel like a little bit more stumbly, right? And if you feel that way, that's okay. But try to time that whipping of the arms. Let's go again. So arms right here like I'm running. Okay, when I kick, I'm gonna boom, back. Ready? Kick. Good. Try to be super accurate. Kick. Kick. One more. Kick. Curl that back leg. Lower a little, maintaining posture. Leg up, leg behind, and return. Good. So let's talk about posture real quick. Right? When we're in the closed guard, a mistake that I see often is posturing, well, a couple of things. My flat feet and posturing are confusing leaning with posturing, right? I need to anchor myself when I can. I modify the posture when I'm low to put outward pressure on the legs, right? So there's a drill we can all do. So everybody get in this position right now, right? Everyone's here. You're doing basically a postured crunch. So we're here, crunch in. And you'll notice that takes his legs up a little bit as well, right? Hands can be wherever. What I imagine to do without a partner is just put the hands like on the biceps, because we're gonna do a standing type position. Hands here, I lean and I bring my feet up, back is straight, stand extra tall, right? Slight bend in my legs so I'm not locked out where I could get tilted, but a tiny bend here. And then your hands can turn to mimic pushing the legs apart, right? Right, come back down. So again, we're in position. So hands on the rib area, toes on the floor, modified crunch, pin the biceps, weight comes off here, and hop the feet up and squeeze the knees slightly. Ooh, what's that? My name. Keep the guard. Don't pop your invisible partner's knee. And then come up, slight bend in the knees, but right here, make sure you're not leaning, you're strong. Because they're trying to pull in with the knees, so you have that position, and then we can work to break, okay? Let's work this drill right now with a partner. So in position. Now you can do one at a time, right? If you don't like the hop, we can do one at a time. Pinning, okay, step. But what you don't want to do is look down and have your hips come up. If we're here, we step in this low position. Okay, strong, stand, back down. Let's do just a few reps of this. And then if you're comfortable on the hop, that's going to save you time, right? It's going to save you time. It's going to give your opponent less time to react. Good. Do just a little bit more. All right. Good job, Philip. Good work, Isis. Good job, Chong. Good, Angie. Good. Do one more time. Try not to get taller while the other leg is coming up. Try not to get taller here and then put it there, because with the weight, that'll be difficult. So it's 1, 2, boom, right here. Good. Okay, so let's add to this movement. And this one, we only need to do if our partner, no, what am I trying to say? We only need to do if we're comfortable with the knees, right? We can continue to do one of the two versions that you just did. But this is about building power, but it can put a little stress on the knees if you're not comfortable, if you're not able to whip your weight up enough. So what I'm trying to do right here is basically throw my hands up and land here. Oh, I shook the screen. And then stand up, right? Then back down. So I'm using the force of my like low squat and going from here to here and my arms to generate power so that I can tuck my knees into my chest, right? And land there. A good practice drill for this is a knee tuck, right? A little bit easier. Again, you may not want to do it, but a knee tuck, I'm generating power, but my legs are already free. A knee tuck is just right here. We did these on Saturday during the conditioning class, right? But that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get my knees up in front, okay? Which is not all that different than what I need to do when I stand quickly. So either the same drill you were doing, hands posted, or if you want to really build the speed and the power, now we're doing it no hands touching. Here. And then reverse lunge back. Okay?
And your toes are still tucked under?
Say that again?
Your toes are still tucked under when you jump forward?
They are. It's actually a little easier, I think, with the feet flat. Actually, I'm not sure. It's about the same. So to make good habits, have the toes tucked in like we're doing it. So we're here, a little bit bent, and then standing tall, okay? Again, focus on the integrity of your spine and your base when you land. Should feel very strong when you land. Good. Nice. And imagine too, like kind of jumping your feet right where you're like right where your knees currently are. So you're not jumping forward, right? You're just popping up. Good, Jack. Nice, Simon. Good work. Good job, Chong. Everybody looks good except for Sam. Sorry, Sam, I had to pick on you. All right. Okay. So, if you want to be creative with that, if you have a medicine ball or a band, medicine ball you could hold, a band you could tie around your waist connected to a platform behind you, and you'll get some counter resistance. With the ball, you get the resistance pulling down. With the band, you get the resistance pulling back. If you're really feeling it, do it with both, right? Because what do you have in Jiu-jitsu close guard? You have someone pulling you forward and pulling you down. And that's why we have to posture against those resistance, angles. So posture is not just about standing tall. You have to do it when something's pushing you at the waist or pushing you at the lapels, right? So with a standing position, let's talk about this. So where are the posture breaking points right here? Usually like my lapel, maybe my cross lapel. If I concede posture and I do a poor job. I just posted actually a video today of Shanji and Hodger, the first time they fought in the Absolute. Go watch the match. It's on my Facebook page. It's really good. But if I play more of a wrestling stance, this can be risky because I concede a higher grip. And now this posture can be broken, not just forward, but down, right? And you'll see Hodger was trying that, and Shanji actually countered. Let's go ahead. By kind of staying tall and then coming in and working the single. So there are some risk factors, you know, when you play too tall. Typically, whether I'm in judo or jiu-jitsu match, when I have the grips, I want a higher posture. I can bend, but what I'm not doing is bending my spine. See that? I'm bending at the hips. If I lean, that's where we get ripped down to the floor. So when you're mimicking this in a real match, if we're going in a real match, typically I protect from the wrestling game early on, right? Because it's not a wrestling match or a judo match, but I can do both of those in a jiu-jitsu match. I protect the wrestling because that's the best element of surprise when we're separate, right? Here, and then I work and then boom. But once I get this grip, if I want to play standing, I play a little bit taller, okay? Unless I'm going to pull guard. Now, what I don't like to really do, or what I want to be aware of, is him pulling guard. So I tend to play a game that's a little bit up and then playing this, right? It's kind of up and back, okay? So it's unpredictable. If I come back, I might be a little more ready for the guard pull. If I'm standing, I have opportunities to work that, okay? So now let's talk about posture. When I feel that I start losing my posture, he starts to, let's just say he's stronger and he can constantly whip me down with that arm. Oh. If I line right back up with him, he's going to do it again. And the second or third time is when he's going to throw me because he got me going in a straight line. So what do we do when we start to lose our posture because of power and strength in our opponent? As he pulls me down, boom, as I posture up, move. You see, I've changed my angle. Now, in order for him to have any power, he needs to recoup his angle. And many times there is where I will find my throw. So those of you that have incorporated some of the band work, you know, like you do in the bands, I know you don't have as much angle, right? But practice changing the angle as you're doing it too, okay? What I don't want to ever do is allow my opponent to pull me in a straight line, forward or backward, right? I can lead them in a straight line if I'm leading the dance, but I cannot have them pulling me in the straight line. Okay, so keep that concept in mind of like your spine being straight, even when you're choosing to play a little bit lower. Still not slumped over. Back is still straight, arms are here. Okay. Now let's look at the concept from the guard. This is back to what we're doing. We'll look at it from the closed and then the open. Okay. So from here, if I feel that my posture is being broken by really, really strong grips here, like this, again, I can't posture my head up. There's no way. The only thing I could do is like posture my hips up, and that's where high guards start to get really dangerous. You see that, right? So what I do, so he starts to like pull down and walk the high guard. Yeah, high guard here. Yeah, I want to crowd that. And again, get rid of a couple of things. Now my spine is straight. Straight, straight. And now we're back to business. See that? So I still use posture even when I'm broken all the way parallel with the floor to get what I'm looking for. When I work myself into a posture game here, and I have different grips, okay? Still posturing, all right? Once I stand and break, still posture. Headquarters, cut through, I'm still keeping my spine strong. Believe it or not, this concept is where much of our problem can be solved by simply strengthening our base with posture. So right here, maybe I'm here, maybe I'm playing the cross collar, and let's say Professor Cameron gets like a kind of a knee shield game going, right? Well, this could be real problematic if I stay bent over, right? It can really push me back. But he gets the knee shield and I get tall. Okay, I'm not passing yet, but he starts going for some attacks here, right? Even if he gets that leg over, I'm very fast and strong to make the change, and also very quick to bring the knee back in. So I tend to gain speed and power by posture, right? There are lower passes, but my spine is still in a straight line. So you really want to ask yourself that question when you're losing position. Where was my posture? Because when you have the answer to that question, you can usually make adjustments. All right. And the way that we can practice this at home, in addition to all the drills that we did, is just every exercise that you're doing, right? Minus some stretches where you're deliberately folding in, is just have that mindset of keeping your posture strong and intact, right? Even if we're doing like the one leg drill series right here. Sometimes you guys know the one, right? Where it's like heel, toe, pinky toe. A lot of times here, it's easy to like bend and stay in a real low posture. So imagine straight back the whole time. Oh, you're gonna be, ooh, you might lose your balance, but you're working on that integrity and that strength where it matters most in jiu-jitsu. So before we go into some more drilling, does anyone have any questions, thoughts, or anything they'd like to ask about how that idea applies to a position or technique? Yes, Miss Angie.
Okay. So when you were in high guard, as long as you keep your back straight and push forward, that keeps them from attacking you. Is it because you're straight, or is it because you're so close to them?
It's a little bit of both, right? If we're here, if I have my posture broken and there's like a high guard happening, right? There's too much weight on my shoulder and neck area for me to be able to win this game. The weight is coming from his arms and his legs. So I drive here, because now I can sort of lower those, right? My arms are in a safe position. I'm also countering his pulling points, which are his arms, besides his legs, his arms, with my hands here. I kind of like just almost like karate chop hands, on the shoulders, maybe bicep, maybe even inside here. But when I'm up tall, I'm here like this. One other option here, again, especially like in no-gi, MMA, is to pull the head. If I pull the head, I know he's not gonna have his strength either, right? And then I can work my way down. But I tend to just, if I'm not allowed to do that, then I just work my shoulders in. I'm also controlling with my knees the outside here. By doing that, what I've done is I've created like a wide, flat surface that makes it difficult for his legs to find anchors onto. Because normally, a rounded back with rounded shoulders, he's got great anchor points for those legs to lock onto, and then he can set up that, like the armbar or the flower sweep game, right? So a flat back kind of takes away the points of control. My knees controlling his hips takes away his spin, and driving forward takes away my arm position. So that's why, like, if somebody starts walking up with a high guard, a lot of times we panic. We're like, oh, no. Like, we want to run away from it, and we give
That's
them.
me. I'll shake my shoulders through and then back up, and I swear I get swept.
Yeah, it's risky. And the higher level you get, the more dangerous that is. Anthony's a good example. Like, he can do that and get away a lot of times because he'll sacrifice like an armbar omoplata because he's so flexible, but not 100% of the time. And it's very dangerous. Bare minimum, you're giving up an advantage. more likely you're getting tapped out there or swept, right? So it's better to stay in the closed guard longer in that situation and just control it. And, you know, like an example of when you know how to control the closed guard in the closed guard, you know, for other purposes, it can be a winning position. Like in MMA, if you know how to control someone in their closed guard, you almost never pass. You just hold them and you punch them in place. And when they can't move their hips how they need to, and you're controlling that upper body, you have all the gravity working for you. So to try to understand why it works like that makes a lot of sense. Jiu-jitsu, you can't do that, but I can hold off until I, you know, keep my back straight. I shimmy my shoulders down if he's got somewhat of an anchor, and then posture back up, and then you're back to work. But yeah, don't retreat, right? The only time you retreat is when they're like, they've locked you in and you're about to get tapped out anyway. You know what I mean? Like there's no moving forward. You're about to get tapped out, and now you got to create a scramble to wiggle out of there safely. Yeah, good question. All right. So, what else do we have? Questions about posture in general? Standing, guard, anything? We're good? All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is turn it over to Professor Cameron. You guys are going to be doing some agility drills, some sweating, some movement, and we'll come back with like maybe the last 8 minutes or so and take some more questions. So yeah, remember the Q&A time is about you guys asking anything that you want. It can be related to what we've gone over, but it can be anything else that you'd like to do. And sometimes those are the best questions because they open up other concepts that we've been working that we can sort of connect. Okay. But everybody should be warm. Let's get to the drills portion, and I'll turn over to Professor Cameron.
Okay, team, let's stand up on our feet. So we're gonna do some stretches and then we'll build our heart rate back up. So here I'm gonna put the weight on my hands. I'm in this position right here. I'm gonna keep the weight on my hands, so not on my legs. I'm just gonna move my feet left or bend my knees left and right here. So I'm not putting the weight on my hand. I'm not putting the weight on my legs. Keep the weight on your hands so your hips are nice and light, and just shift back and forth right here. All right, so now when we shift, take your toes off the ground so you get a little bit lower. See now my toes are off the ground here. Now we're shifting a little bit low. Weight's still on my hands, but now I'm just moving my hips a little bit deeper into this position. Time, team. All right, let's stand up. We'll get to our low position, like our low grappling stance right here. Just like Professor Charles was saying, I'm not hunching over. I still have good posture. I still have my lower back. My back is straight here. So we're just gonna do our breaking our daily Kiva hook position. So I'm just gonna drop my knee down all the way to the ground and I come back up. I'm not twisting my body, like lunging and facing a different way. I'm just dropping down, coming back up. Here, here. Here, so my head doesn't move. I'm just killing the hooks, coming back right here. Kill, come back. Kill this angle, this avenue for them, and I come back right here. My hands like to rest, my elbows on my knees, because this is simulating protecting your elbows when we're trying to pass the guard. I don't want to reach out and give them all these angles. I'm here, I'm protected here, and I'm just kill. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Time, team. All right, let's lay down. All right, now we're gonna shrimp in place. So here, make sure you take your hips off the ground, push, and I pull myself flat. So push, pull, shrimping in place. Let's begin, team. You don't have to go super fast. Take your time, get your full shrimping motion. So really exaggerate your hips going back. Pull yourself. You can pause here. Hips exaggerate going back. Exaggerate the pull forward. If you want to do this for speed and work on your cardio, that's fine. But really focus on those hips out. Good time. Okay, the next one we're gonna do our bridges, but we're gonna take our feet off the ground every time. So I know I've been teaching this one. I always focus on keeping your hips as flat as possible, pushing off with that opposite leg. So if I'm turning to my left, I'm gonna push off my right. My hips are going up, then I push off that foot, and then that's how I get my twist. So that pressure coming from the opposite foot, that's what twists your hips. We're taking our feet off every time. So we're here. So my feet will be off the ground, push, hips up, twist, come back, feet up, feet down, push, up, down. That opposite leg is really pushing, and that's what's taking your hips over to that side. Up, down, push, push. All right, let's begin, team. So take your feet off the ground every rep. So my feet come up, and then as soon as they touch the ground, that's where I get my explosion, my push. My feet are off, up, push. Good, team. So now from this position, we're gonna walk all the way through. So I'm bridging. It's like I'm imagining I'm getting an underhook, grabbing a single leg. So someone's in side mount. I get my underhook. I'm grabbing their leg. I'm walking my hips around, and then I'm out of that position, ending in like a turtle position on my knees. So I'm not up here. I'm low in a turtle position, or like I have side mount right here, elbows on the ground, knees on the ground. So when I go here, I'm bridging, coming up, and I'm staying low, elbows on the ground. And it's alternate sides, team. All right, let's go. Start practicing. So we're here. Same thing, bridge. Walk your feet around, and then pause with your elbows on the ground. And then your base is wide, and I still have good posture. Even in this position, I can still keep my back flat. Walk around. Here, head down. Time, team. Good job. All right, so now let's go to our base right here. So we're gonna do our candlestick. So we're gonna fall and come back to the same side. So I'm in my base, fall, hips up high, candlestick, hold this position. So I'm holding my lower back, hips up high, fall back to that same side, switch your feet, and then keep practicing. So we're staying in the same place. We don't have to move too much here. So we're just hip up high, come back down, and then just switch your base. If you don't have that much space to turn and fall, you can just do it stationary in a spot by just lifting your hips up, holding the candlestick, and then coming back down. You do not have to do this one from our jiu-jitsu base position if you don't have the space. But pause on the top. So hold the top, hold at the top for at least 3 seconds, and then come back down. So hold that candlestick. Okay, time. All right, the next we're gonna do our triangle drill. So really focus on taking your hips off the ground. So when we do this drill, there's different levels that you can do. Just our basic triangle drill, like going right here, like that looks right. My hips are coming off the ground, but I'm not giving too much effort. So you can really exaggerate your hips up here and see now my lower back is coming off the ground when I shoot up the triangle. If you got that down, then go on your shoulders here and then really shoot up just like that candlestick we just did. So you can really exaggerate your shoulders, the weight on your shoulders, hips up, lower back off the ground, and then triangle, and then flex your feet at the bottom. So you can start off low. So take your belt off the ground, then your lower back, and everything here. So go ahead and start practicing, team. Really exaggerate, taking yourself off the ground, shooting the triangle, and then pausing at the end to flex both of our feet at the end, shoot up, grab, pause at the end, and practice right here. And then one more detail, team. Imagine if you're visualizing someone standing up, like trying to pass your open guard. So don't just shoot your hips up here. Grab their neck, shoot it forward. So I'm not like triangling, being smashed right here. I'm reaching, grabbing here. So you see my knees don't go past like my eyes here. So I'm shooting up here. So try that. Make sure your knees aren't like past your nose. So your hips are engaged like that bridge. Our hips are forward. Even when we're in the air, our hips are still forward. Hips forward. And we're flexing our feet. You should really feel that one in your core. Okay, time. Good job, team. All right, this next drill, I like to do it part of my like hard training rituals. So I know Professor Lovato talked about this a while ago, like having a ritual for your own warm up. So like specific things you do to get into the zone. So for me, if I have to do an MMA fight, I do these specific drills. We're not going to do all of them, but I do this one every time to get my mindset ready. It's just, here I'm on my back and I just put a frame up and I sit up right here. So I'm just sitting up, my pinky leading here. I just go on my back and then I come up. I go on my back and I come up right here. So this simulates for me when I visualize this, it's like I'm in closed guard or someone's on top of me. Here I'm just pushing, coming up. It's gonna turn to an underhook or a frame and then I get out of it. So we're here, we're just coming up and I can move my hips if I need to, but we're gonna add that stuff to it. So we're just gonna be on our back, sit up, post on your hand, pinky high, pinky forward up high, and then my elbow is bent right here. So if I need to grab the collar and pull, or if I need to push, I'm safe right here. So just try this out, team. So we're just going back and forth. So sitting up, elbow high here, come back down. Elbow high, high behind your arm. But don't reach it out. Keep your elbow bent so if someone grabs it, I can grab with my other hand. I'm safe. I don't want to be too extended right here and get pulled. I'm here so I can always grab my elbow. If they grab an elbow grip, I can always break it with my other hand. And it's when my feet are staying on the ground. I'm not really rocking up and down. This is more just a sit up, swing, sit up, swing here. Okay, team, so now when we get here, so once we sit up, so you're gonna kick, come up to my base, and then stand up. So we're here, sit up, and I can take my hips off the ground right here. So you don't have to stand up all the way, just take your hips off the ground, come back down here, hips off the ground. I can come up to my foot or my knee, come back down. So we're just getting up halfway. Here, come up to my base, come back down. Here, base, come back down. All right, begin. and I'm hiding underneath this hand. So it's like self-defense. Someone's gonna start throwing stuff at me. I'm hiding behind this hand. I can block whatever here, and I'm just moving my hips. So the weight, a lot of weight is on that back hand, that back posting hand, so I can move, I can pull myself. So focus on that weight on that back hand. When I sit up, I'm just pushing up on that arm. Okay, time. So let's go back to this position. So this seated position here. So I'm going to switch back and forth. So I'm just going to switch here. I'm going to go back. So this is not like a cardio or speed drill. Just in my position here. And I'm just in my position here. So I'm curling one foot in. So one foot's always behind here. And I'm just switching here. So I'm here. Here, you see my back? I'm not bowing it. My back is kind of straight. Just switching, staying mobile. I'm on one hip. I'm on the other hip. And you see, even though like we're fighting, like we can imagine fighting like the camera here. So I'm not going to be here. And then now I'm fighting somebody else here. I'm in my sitting guard. So I'm going to try and forward pressure. I'm in the same position here. Same position. Don't give them an angle when you switch. Don't switch and give them an angle to your back. You're in front of me here. You're in front of me here. In front, in front. Okay, team, so now from here, so that hand's up. So now we're gonna simulate a body drag. So it's like I'm grabbing the collar. I'm gonna pull to my elbow here. And this drill doesn't have to be like a hard impact break fall. I'm just here, I take my hips off the ground. So I'm posting on that hand, hips off the ground, come up, hips off the ground. Here, just going back and forth. So I'm just grabbing, dropping down, that knee's up, drop that side down, and I'm just staying in the same position. So let's try this one out, team. So body drag, pull that side down, body drag, pull that side down. And see, I'm sitting up too, I'm not laying down, the weight's not on me, my hips are forward. Here. Nice, good job, team. Okay, so now from here, so we're gonna work, so in the same position, so in that same sitting guard position here, still using this hand, so my opposite foot, I'm gonna push up here. So this is like a simulating a hip bump. So if I do a hip bump, I'm doing this motion right here. So same thing, I'm just starting here, posting, hips forward, I'm posting on my knee, my foot, my back foot, my lead toes, and my knee here. I just come back, switch sides. So I'm on my knee and my foot and my arm on each side. So the weight is on my knee, my hand. This foot is pushing me. Come back, weight on my hand, knee. That leg is pushing me here. Hip bump. You can really exaggerate that hip forward, come down. Hip forward, come down. Let's go, team. And my feet are staying on the ground. Two, my feet aren't coming off the ground. Time, team. Okay, so those are a lot of drills that we just did, but that was mostly, for my portion, was focusing on our guard, staying on our bottom here so we can move, we're staying mobile. We need a triangle, we can triangle. There's a lot of drills you can do, focusing on your guard, focusing on passing your guard, you stand up. You can always break down your workouts, especially in jiu-jitsu, to whatever your goals are. So if it's guard passing, submission, sweeps, you can do drills. Focus on that. So we're working on our guard a little bit today and our posture. So right now we're gonna just do a little bit of abs. So Here, we're gonna go rapid fire first. So that's opposite hand, opposite foot. I'm gonna count. We'll do 4 each rep. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1. And we're gonna do 10 of them. So we're ready, team. So feet stay off the ground. Make sure you get a little bit of twist. Don't just go like this. Get a little bit of twist in there. Ready, team. So feet off the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, so same position. So hands out, feet off the ground, then we're kicking and we're coming back down. So we do 10 of them on my count. Ready, team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, let's go on our back now. One leg straight, one leg in the air. We're going inside hand first. So inside, outside, inside. That's 1. We're gonna do 10 on each side. So we're climbing up our leg, taking our shoulders and our back off the ground at the end. 10 on each side, going inside first. Ready, team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, let's switch sides. Ready, team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good job, team. Okay, let's all sit up. So we're doing this one drill too. So going off what Professor Travis said about our posturing. So earlier this year, there's one Ribeiro black belt. I forgot his name. I know Jorge did the seminar where he was focusing on like the bullfighter pass and everything. This guy had a giant neck. And a lot of the questions in the Q&A was like, well, how do you do your posture? Like, how do you develop your posture game? And he said that one of the drills that he would do to work on his posture is that he just pulls his chin into his chest. So he's here, his back straight, and then he'll just pull his chin into his chest right here. So he's not looking down. He's just here. Let me see if I can do it sideways. And he's pulling his chin into his chest. Kind of like you have an itch or someone's trying to grab your collar. I'm pulling my chin with my back straight into my chest here. So let's all try this posture drill. So here, and this one you can do anywhere. The professor said that he works on the desk on a computer. So he just does this all day, every day. And his neck was huge. Just here, just flexing his neck a little bit and then coming back relaxed. Bring his chin into his chest, coming back. Chin to your chest, hold it for a second, and then come back. So my eyes are forward. I'm not looking down. I'm here. I'm nice and relaxed. And it's just like you don't want like that slimy thing on your neck. You're just like here. Keep going. A few more, team. A few more. Do 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Time.
Nick Schrock.
Nick. His name was Nick.
His last name sounds like his person, like his presence. Schrock just sounds like a big necked
Brock.
Yeah, guy, I guess. Okay. So, by the way, that exercise, those chin tucks, really important for your neck health. I've had neck issues with a couple of discs in my neck, and over the long term of doing jiu-jitsu, we get our necks, twisted a little bit, and we want to have strong muscles, but those chin tucks keep your spine really in line. In addition to helping with your posture, just keeping your neck feeling healthy. So those are easy. Look for little I guess you would call them hacks and ways to like improve while you're doing nothing. Like you can do those while you're in line at the grocery store. You can do those when you're sitting at a desk. You don't need to plan a workout to get benefits, you know, to your body, right? You have your workout, you have your jiu-jitsu, and then you just have movement. I like to try to put my shoes on every day without sitting down. That sounds ridiculously, you know, like not that big of a deal, but I got to balance on one foot and make that happen, right? You do that, and then suddenly you find that you find little improvements just by being consistent with things like that. So we're just about out of time, but would anyone like to ask a follow-up question about anything? George.
So I ran into a position from the bottom quarter guard. And this may be a position where, you know, it's one of those like, why do you get in that position in the first place? And you can't get out. Now you deserve to be there.
Probably
But,
so.
yeah, but it's, Professor Jace had this really strong control where he had all his weight on the knee. So it was really a 3/4 mount. He had more 3/4 mount than I had. Yeah. A quarter guard. So his knee was really heavy. All his weight was on the knee that I'm trying to get to half guard. His back leg, his heel was on my back. He was doing like a hamstring curl with his leg, like up on my back. So I can't swing. And he was also leaning forward. So that has a ton of pressure on my shoulders too. It wasn't quite a crossface, but he was on my shoulder. So that was feeling my top arm.
Where are you? Okay, so you're here?
Yes.
And he's curling his foot into you.
Yeah. So like Professor Cameron, like your foot on Professor Chavez's back is like here. And it's like here. It's up like this, almost like an S mount. But you're low. Gotcha. Yeah. So all your weight is on the knee, on the near side knee, the knee that coach. Yeah, that knee. This leg is curling hard against his back, so keeping him from shrimping. And you have like this back shoulder heavy. No, the other one. That shoulder heavy on, yeah. So that top arm is just stuck. I felt like all I had was my forearm, but I couldn't do anything with it.
How'd you get here?
Are you on your side like I am?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't mind this position that much. You actually have quite a bit you can do. But you're probably maybe thinking like, I need to move back and that knee is too strong.
Yeah, and I was also trying to catch that leg, but that knee was too heavy.
This bottom foot has some power this way, and this arm has a little power this way, right?
Yeah.
When I move those together, and then I'm going to use this knee this way. Okay, so those three. Push with the elbow, curl this way, bump here. Ready? And now you're there. You can do it, but you've got to do that. You guys like my my sandal farmer tan from pressure washing? That's the best sandal tan I've ever had. Yeah, basically, if he's holding there and he doesn't have a thumb in the collar, like he's not threatening this, you've got lots of movement here, which is the same drills that we've been doing like for the past weeks, these like kind of single leg type shrimps. You bump them.
So it's a reverse shrimp with a swipe of your arm against his hip.
It's like, yeah, it's like a bump and knee, right? And then this is driving in just so you can get underneath to a half guard, right? So really, let me counter that move, okay? If I'm on top and I'm here in this position, I either want the thumb in or I'm probably going to change my position altogether. So Professor Cameron is well protected and not giving me the thumb in like this. And he starts to do that motion where he steps that foot out. I'm actually going to back up here. That's how I should counter this potential. Because if I stay here, like with this arm in like this, And he starts doing that movement where he bumps me, like, give me a little more bump with that, go back real quick, with that right knee. Yeah. It's so close to the deep half guard. Like, you don't realize how close you are right there. So I either achieve this and I get here. This would change things, or this arm over here would change things significantly. Then I love the knee right here. I can step over an arm bar, right? Or again, if the thumb is here, it won't matter because I can just anchor down and choke. But if none of that's there, and he starts the movement, go slowly, he starts to go here, I feel like I need to move here, right? Because now I got into more of a knee stack game. So that's your way out if you're protected. If you let him have a collar, or if your arm's on the wrong side, completely different.
No, what I was running into was my arms running, so I was protected, but every time I would try to move, and I wasn't doing that obviously, but every time I would try to move, he would just be able to mount.
Think about the position for a second, right? You are only your top arm away from being in the deep half guard. That quarter guard, like 3/4 mount position is one small movement away from your deep half guard. And that's how you need to really think about a lot of positions, right? I'm in a bad position, but how close am I to being in a good position? If he's got my back and he's got me in a bow and arrow choke, I'm not one step away from a good position. I'm like one step away from survival, and then a step away from neutral, and then a step away from escaping, right? But a position like this is more nuanced. There's a lot happening there that can connect you from bad to good very quickly. And even though you seem very crowded, you're crowded in a lot of directions, but you've got a lot of power by doing that. So just practice that, right? You've got that position, you're protected, you're here, curl in, bump, and arm under. And when you land, you've got to be flat. Not completely, a little bit lead, right? But you're not staying on your side like that. Does that do it?
Yeah, that's really good. I'm gonna try that next Sunday.
Next time you train with him, just meet him there and pretend you're real scared, and then see what happens. Okay. Hopefully he doesn't watch the YouTube live version and know that all your questions are about how to beat him. And then I know if you do beat him in the next class, you're gonna like brag about it, and then so that's even better. All right, we're out of time, team. Great class today. Thank you guys. Thank you for showing up, for participating, for asking questions, for doing the work. Everyone is getting better during this time. Keep showing up as often as you can, even if you don't have a training floor, right? I know I've had some students that haven't participated because they said, during that time, I'm like away, and I'm at an office or something like that. I said, well, if you're not going to get fired, obviously, and you can chime in. You don't have to have your gi on. You don't have to be training. That's preferred, but I would rather have you here with your teammates and being a part of it, contributing to the class as often as you can. So thank you guys. Let's have another awesome week. And we'll see you tonight. Ready, stance. Feet together, attention. Team.